Today we are going to talk about something that almost every English learner struggles with, but very few people truly understand. How do you stop translating in your head and start thinking in English so you can speak naturally and fluently? Hello everyone, welcome back to Slow English TV. Imagine this, you are in a conversation, you understand what the other person is saying, you know the grammar, you even know the vocabulary, but when it is your turn to speak, your mind becomes slow. You build the sentence in your own language first, then you try to convert it into English. By the time you are ready, the moment is gone. The conversation has already moved on. If this feels familiar, then this video is exactly for you. In this video, I will show you what it really means to think in English, why translating is slowing you down, and most importantly, how you can train your brain to speak English more naturally without forcing it. I will also share simple techniques you can start using today. Let's begin with a simple truth. Thinking in English does not mean you suddenly switch your brain to a different language overnight. It is not magic. It is not a special talent. It is simply a skill your brain develops over time. When you translate, your brain is doing extra work. First, you create the idea in your own language. Then you search for English words. Then you check if the grammar is correct. This process takes time and energy. That is why your speech feels slow, heavy, and sometimes stressful. But when you think in English, something different happens. Your brain connects ideas directly to English words and phrases. There is no middle step, no translation, just faster access. And that is the key word here, access. Fluency is not about knowing more words. It is about accessing the words you already know quickly and automatically. Think about how you speak in your own language. You don't translate. You don't think about grammar rules. You just speak. That is because your brain has practiced those patterns so many times that they have become automatic. The same thing can happen with English. Now, here is something important. Translation is not bad. In fact, it is very useful when you are a beginner. It helps you understand meaning. It helps you learn new words. But the problem starts when translation becomes your habit for speaking. When every sentence depends on translation, your brain never learns to respond directly in English. So how do we change that? How do we train the brain to move from slow, controlled thinking to faster, more automatic thinking? The first step is to stop learning words in isolation. Your brain does not like single words. It prefers patterns. It prefers chunks of language. For example, instead of learning the word decision, learn the phrase make a decision. Instead of learning responsibility, learn take responsibility. These are natural combinations that native speakers use all the time. When you learn phrases instead of single words, your brain starts predicting what comes next. This reduces effort. You don't have to build every sentence from zero. You already have ready-made pieces, and this is exactly how fluency begins to develop. The second step is something very powerful but very simple. It is called shadowing. Shadowing means you listen to English and repeat it immediately out loud, without stopping, without translating, and without overthinking. You just listen and copy. At first, it might feel difficult. Your brain will try to analyze everything, but if you keep going, something interesting happens. Your brain starts reacting faster. It starts connecting sounds with meaning directly. This is one of the best ways to reduce translation because it trains your brain to respond, not calculate. The third step is speaking. Yes, even if you make mistakes, even if you feel uncomfortable, speaking forces your brain to work faster. It pushes you to find words quickly, and this pressure is actually good because every time you speak, your brain becomes a little faster, a little more flexible, and a little more confident. If you don't have a partner, you can still practice. Talk to yourself. Describe your day. Explain what you are doing. For example, you can say, now I am making tea. I am opening the fridge. I am going outside. These small habits train your brain to think in English in real situations. Another powerful method is using simple English input like stories, podcasts, or videos. You do not need to understand everything. In fact, it is better if you don't. When you understand about 60 or 70%, your brain starts guessing the rest. It uses context, it predicts meaning, and this is how you begin to connect ideas. directly to English instead of translating. Repetition is also very important. When you hear the same phrases again and again, they become familiar, they become automatic. You stop thinking about them, you just use them. This is exactly how children learn their first language, and it works the same way for a second language. Now, let me tell you something very honest. Thinking in English is not something that happens in one day. It is a gradual process. Some days you will still translate. Some days you will feel slow. That is completely normal. Progress is not perfect. The goal is not to eliminate translation instantly. The goal is to reduce it step by step. You might notice small changes at first. Maybe you respond a little faster. Maybe you use a phrase without thinking. Maybe you understand something without translating. These are signs that your brain is adapting. And if you continue, these small changes will become big improvements. So remember this, fluency is not about being perfect. It is about being natural. It is about flow. It is about reducing effort, and your brain is capable of doing this if you give it the right kind of practice. Instead of forcing yourself to think in English, create conditions where thinking in English happens naturally. Use phrases, not just words. Practice shadowing. Speak every day. Listen to simple English regularly. Repeat what you hear. And most importantly, be patient with yourself. One day, without even realizing it, you will start speaking without translating. You will respond faster. Conversations will feel easier, and English will start to feel more like a part of you, not something separate. So stop translating every sentence. Start building patterns, start using English more naturally, and trust the process. If this video helped you, make sure you subscribe to Slow English TV for more simple and practical lessons like this. I am here to help you speak English with confidence, step by step. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.